Hi, once again, I'm back. This week was very hectic. I went to Mantralaya, caught up with high fever. I've been on bed rest from past 1 week. Then visit office. This office, it's mandatory to visit at least 2 days. I'm lucky that I got an exception because of my health. I am finally recovered. Today is the first day where I'm feeling better after a week of high fever, tiredness, cough. Uh, my goodness, I have not been so sick from past 1 decade, I believe. So, okay. Now, the reason of making this video is basically I wanted to cover the aspects of how important it is to start a career in help desk and event management. At the same time, I want to show the gratitude for the opportunity I got. Uh, Maybe I always cursed myself for not being privileged to have opted or having options of a better paying, better respected job. But now, when I turn back, I started with help desk, typical uh, call taking job. But when I turn back, what did I learn in help desk? Help desk basically has incident management, problem management. We used to manage the assets, IT assets. In fact, non-IT assets also. Those days it was pages provisioning, mobile phone provisioning. Everything used to be handled by help desk. Um, we used to work on CSATs. In fact, we used to give a call back to the customers once they give us the feedback on specifying them or ensuring that there is a permanent resolution provided to them. And we used to get the customer support ratings increased, right? So incident, problem, change, IT asset management, which included ham and sam, right? We used to install softwares and ham. When I say ham, we used to manage the inventory, not the servers, not the server parts as in the enterprise servers, but basically when we say hardware, it's the assets, basically the laptops, right? The parts of the laptops. We used to troubleshoot the entire desktop. We used to use stock rooms to go ahead and provide keyboard replacement, laptop replacement, loaner laptops, as well as mouse. Those days, mouse was crazy. They used to get spoiled a lot. Those were the mouse with the rubber ball inside, and we went ahead and even we used to walk them through to clean those rubber ball which is inside the mouse also. So those kind of troubleshooting is what we used to do. So that covers, again, I'm reiterating here: incident management, problem management, change management, CSAT, right? Stockroom concept aa gaya. And then after stockroom, we also did loaner laptops, IT inventory management पूरा आ गया. Then next is basically we used to help our team leads prepare the roster. So what happens in roster is basically you have to do the floor planning also for a floor and skill planning. So it's a concept of capacity management, but not actually the core capacity management as in the IT. This is more of a workplace capacity management, typical to ServiceNow's workspace management, right? So what we used to do here is basically plan the roster in such a way wherein we have one skilled people at any given point of time, and also the number of seating is limited, right? If you have 20 people in one shift, you are supposed to have less than 20 people, and if it is more than 20 people there is a seating problem. So we used to have the flooring layout also, and we used to typically manage how many people come into one shift at a time. If there is overlap of the shift, do they have the seating arrangement in place, right? This is nothing but the workspace. I'm calling out some things here. Workspace management. So we have software installations also. So we used to manage the licenses, typical Excel, right? We used to take remote of the computers, manage and install the software and manage the licenses. We used to maintain a list of licenses, what is available, what type of licenses are available, what is grantable without approval, what is not installable, and we used to track them also. For example, few softwares are expensive that it is allotted only for a specific period of time, not for a longer period of time. So we had to set reminders, in fact, to revoke the license from them. Those days revoking was not remote. We had, I mean, remote in the sense not like I press a button here and it gets revoked on the customer system, right? We have to go ahead, call them, take control of their computer and revoke the application from there. Okay, so that covers SAM also, software asset management, right? So what did we cover now? Incident management, problem management, change management, inventory management, software license management, workspace management. Okay, that completes few things. Now coming to the assets, right? We we used to do the first line troubleshooting for all kind of downtime issues at an enterprise level. A website is down, the customer would call us and say this website is down, but we are supposed to check and troubleshoot where the problem is. Is it the server is down? How will you troubleshoot server is down? Basically you ping the website, you check the website is down, website is not there, then check where the website, where the front load servers are located. Are those servers reachable? Is the issue with the front end servers, or is the issue with the back end servers, or is it the issue with the with some other application on their on the servers? So we used to use the ping command, right, and troubleshoot which part of the device is down or which component is down. These all are manual, right? These days you have event management tools for this, which pings and gives you alerts in red, green, amber, the typical critical alerts, or the information alerts what you get, gives you a status. It's easy, but we didn't have the console showing us back then. Those days I spent close to 2.5 years doing only this work, nothing else. Every day 60 calls, most of them used to be password resets, but there were interesting calls which we used to take. But there were many emails which we used to process, the onboarding request, be it the seat allocation, the movement of the assets. Like there used to be desktops, right? Desktops has to be moved to one cabin to another cabin, or one building to another building. So we used to process, in the sense we used to create tickets and assign it to respective teams. There was no auto routing back then, it was manual routing. So auto routing came into picture. Now field service management. When field service management, I say it's let's talk about the desktop movement, right? One building to another building, right? It's nothing but field service management. Someone has to visit there, pick up the hardware, place it in the stock room, and when it's available for I mean the other building is available, they're supposed to move the assets back there, be it the chairs, be it the entire table. So this all comes under field service management as well as workspace management, right? Field service management, there used to be one more scenario. For example, there used to be home office for US people. So we had to send someone to troubleshoot, especially when the senior VP is calling us and he says that his laptop keyboard is gone and he wants it to be fixed right now. We check the impact on the business because of that one VP being unable to work, and based on that, we check for the specific IT, local IT who is available, who can visit, and maybe check the keyboard if at all the VP can't visit, right? So these all part of field service management is one example which I'm giving, but not the core field service management. I agree, but the concepts are same, right? The concepts are same. And other than this, I worked in the finance industry initially. That was Buck Financials. It was a Canada-based company for which we were providing help desk support, and we were handling all of their IT issues. So SAP password resets, those were manual password resets. There was no SSPR, SSO, nothing. So we used to authenticate them and reset the passwords. So SSPR concept also came there. So other than this, we finished. Let me check what am I missing. Yeah, next is onboarding, right? Onboarding aspects, especially help desk, is the first point of contact after HR, I would say, because HR delivers the offer letter and parallel to that raises a onboarding request. So those requests used to come to our emails in the shared email box or shared mailbox, what we used to call back then. So these were grouped tasks which has to be segregated and separate tickets has to be created. One separate ticket for laptop, several tickets for access, several tickets for goodies, several tickets for assets that he needs, mobile if it is involved, pager if it is involved. Those days it was on call, right? So they used to use the pages. So again, one is a hardware ticket for pager, and second is provisioning the pager is another ticket. If network is involved, that is a third ticket, right? So there are many phases to this. Nowadays, ServiceNow has very simplified it with the workflow, but there are a lot of facets which, as a help desk individual, we used to do it manually, right? These days, if you ask typical, what do you say, the privileged folks, right, about, okay, let's not touch that topic. So what I was saying was basically these things are unaware by many people, unaware. These nitty gritties are unaware. Even if the developers are developing the workflows, they basically are as if focused only on their deliverables. The more you get involved into where it is being used, what is happening after I finish my work, where is it what kind of value it is adding, what is the savings that my work is bringing for the bigger organization, or what is the value that is earned with my work. If you touch base on this aspects, a lot of things comes into picture, and uh, you'd learn a lot from the real world scenarios of consumption of your workflow or even a small script which you write, right? That's where, in fact, this time I gave a feedback to all my team members. Don't just be like focused only to the script or the workflows. Try to understand where it is consumed, what value is it adding, how is it being done without your deliverable. So when your deliverable comes into the value stream, what are the changes, what is the value add the company in question will get, what are the advantages, right? This we have to focus a lot. Now I am able to relate that incident management, problem change, as well as the SLA management. We used to have SLAs, no CSATs, right? We also used to have CSATs and our call handling time AHT and all used to be there. Plus we used to get follow up mails also if the ticket is not closed on time, or even if it is kept in open state for a longer duration. So we used to call it aging back then, right? We used to be questioned for more aged tickets in our queue assigned in my name. So this all is nothing but the ITSM part, right? Now the troubleshooting which I did for website, I explained the website is down, and we troubleshoot the network and the I mean, we basically ping the website, front end servers, back end servers, check what application is down there using the ping itself. We didn't have a remote access to the servers. Enterprise servers were not accessible by help desk. We always had to escalate the ticket to level 2, level 3, if at all it is more than just a restart or basic. But we had to troubleshoot and document all our findings before passing it on to the level 2, level 3 teams. So we had our own cheat sheet. Those cheat sheet is nothing but the manual CMDB which we used to maintain. Manual CMDB. Someone used to type in the IP address, server names, host names, what application resides on that, how it is interconnected to different network components. This all was in the Excel dump, right? And we used to maintain it. We were supposed to maintain it as a help desk. That was one of our team members' job, to connect with level 2 team if something is missing and get it added, or something is wrong or changed due to a change. We have to collect those details and update it in the manual CMDB, right? So CMDB came into picture, ITOM came into picture, right? Now coming to Ham and Sam, I have already covered Ham and Sam, how we used to do, right? Now enterprise applications where, for example, you have a Windows Server OS, those licenses were not managed by me or by help desk, but the local software licenses were managed by us. Now coming to enterprise software licenses, that was managed by the admin teams of specific technology stacks, right? Those days cloud was not there for us. Cloud was not there. At the maximum it was SharePoint, that's all. So just giving the facets, we covered ITSM knowledge, from where help desk helps, ITOM knowledge, from where help desk has done it manually, ham, from where help desk has managed us, inventory management, from where help desk has managed it, from the SAM part, software asset management, how help desk will has handled it. And other than that, workspace management is a bigger concept of capacity management in project management terms also, because you talk about the seating capacities of particular. Those days it's like, how to say, for example, you have a client who needs a help desk with a 60 seater. As a project manager, you are supposed to manage how to fill those 60 seats and keep it occupied, and how to ensure that it doesn't exceed 60 and all those 60 seats are built. That all comes part of the workspace management itself. So that is one thing. Next is the what was field service management. Field service management we had in Buck Financials. Since it's a financial company, we used to assign few people for field visits needed, and these field visits used to be done by contractors. So every time there was a call from a contractor on a specific access or troubleshooting needed for some of the application which we uses, we have understood how the field service management works, how the field visits happens, and what kind of applications. There were many in-house built applications, especially financial applications, where they were supposed to report the lead and their activities. So we used to get the functional knowledge of how what happens when within the field service management. But their nature of work and how we can help them, right? So if you look at field service management, it's all about helping the consumer in person, right? Or attending to a sales lead in person, right? It might be a consumer product or a consumer services. You need to go in person, connect with the people, and explain the concepts. So there are certain application which the contractor uses while walking into the customer and updating, and also their laptops are provisioned for key resources even if it is part of the vendor. Contractors are part of the vendor employees, right? Not a direct employee of the company. There are very less chances where a field service manager or field service professional is a direct employee of the organization. He is usually a contractor. So the pagers, the mobile devices were also allocated for few key field service professionals. So we used to provision them, and so those activities we understand and we connect here. Now coming to GRC. GRC is typical one area which you will never learn in help desk. In help desk, what do you learn? Password policy at the maximum, right? And nothing much on the GRC. But GRC, you get communications because uh, infosec is there. You work closely with information security, and for example a new software is being requested, right? You understand only the basics that there is a team called infosec who kind of sets the compliance and ensures that it is maintained. That's the basic understanding you get in help desk on the GRC. So GRC is the weakest area for a person who has worked in help desk, is what I would say. Other than that, SPM is typical demand management, ITR management, project management, program management, as well as Agile 2.0. This, as you grow in your career, if you do PMI, PMP, PMI, ACP, or certified Scrum Master, or even SAFE, you would get this concept sorted out, and you'd be pretty much fine with the time cards. It's typical project manager role, so you would understand the basic nuances of SPM. Okay, what is the next one? GRC, right? GRC, the typical framework for GRC is COBIT, right? COBIT is good enough. If you learn COBIT, just do the foundation one. That would set you, especially it will help you understand few concepts of HRSD also. For example, how a what is the difference between vision, mission, how vision, mission gets catered or gets cascaded into roles and responsibilities. So it's the top down model. For example, in vision, mission, as well as the yearly targets, if there is dollar amount set, now that dollar amount gets cascaded in terms of roles and responsibilities to the lowest level in the hierarchy. So, in the hierarchy, you might notice that getting 99% CSAT is your target for a help desk individual, but that 99% gets converted to a dollar amount at a higher level, because the more good quality work you do, the more number of calls you take, obviously the revenue increases. So that cascading of work is the primary thing which is related to HRSD also, that as well as governance you would understand in COBIT. And GRC also has other standards. This at the max in help desk you will learn only about ISO 9000, which is related to quality standards. And nowadays if you are a little experienced in help desk, you would start handling ISO 9000. ISO 27000 is specific to InfoSec. These three are majorly day to day activities for any individual in the IT sector. Okay. Now, anything other than the standards are specific to region regulatories. There are even SOX compliances, right? So, region regulatory as well as governance laws specific to the country we are supporting. So, those all comes into picture, and there are many ISO standards, and it's 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 uh, it's good to learn those standards, but I wouldn't suggest you to do any certifications on that. But since you do ISO 9000 or 20,000 audits, right, even internal audit, you will understand GRC thoroughly. Auditing, basically GRC is nothing but auditing itself. Standards are different, clauses are different. You don't have to memorize that unless you are into actual auditing, but the concept is the same. It's conformance, non-conformance, and observation. So, conformance is good, non-conformance is a issue, observation is an improvement, right? If you do any ISO 9000 internal audit or 20,000 internal audit, you're good with GRC, right? The concept will be strong enough. So now I'm touch basing on the ServiceNow modules now. I covered ITSM, from where you would get the functional knowledge in help desk, ITOM, HAM, SAM. ITAM is nothing but HAM and SAM together, right? And APM is the top layer of HAM, SAM, and basically top layer of ITAM. Okay. APM comes into picture when you are at an architect level, right? So when you handle any project as a enterprise architect, you get to visibility of a enterprise architecture, how the hardwares are connected to softwares, what software relies on what component. It's basically APM is nothing but functionally, if I have to say, it gives you an enterprise layout, basically a low level diagram of, for example, in the data center, a low level diagram of how it is connected. Basically, a CMDB map is the part of APM, but there are many details such as life cycle of a hardware, right? How it gets decommissioned, how it gets commissioned, what is the e-wastage process, right? So these all nitty-gritties you have already touch based in help desk, but here it everything gets linked together, right? Ham Sam gets linked, and along with that there are life cycle models which we used to raise tickets for decommission, commission, and EV stage comes into picture there, right? And these all gets connected with the dots. You used to do it separately. The connecting dots makes it APM, right? And SPM we have covered already. Now GRC I have covered already. So CSM is niche. CSM is niche. This you will learn basically when you work for a e-commerce industry. And e-commerce typically is B2C, B2B concepts. So when you work in the e-commerce kind of a industry, typically like my first company, Tutor Vista, where we used to teach, provide tuitions to US students from India, right? So you get to understand the uh, business flow, how it happens exactly, and as a customer support individual, what you will do, as a pre-sales individual, what you will do to sell the tuitions, as a tutor, what and all activities they will be performing. See, IT support is a very niche area, okay? I know people doesn't like to work in IT support, including me. I have moved out of it for a long time back. But I would say that if you have to have continuous learning in your life, there's nothing better than IT support. But yes, it is stressful after a period of time. But the amount of knowledge what you learn is immense. It is a Pandora box actually. You start with something else, you end with something somewhere else, right? Like I started with help desk, right? My certification journey started with ITIL V3. V3 it started. Okay. I did my foundation and I didn't have the funds to continue, but I was very passionate about it. But 2011, ITL 2011, a minor version got released. Then I started my journey there. If you look at ITIL, right, whatever we are talking here is already covered part of ITIL. Even in ITL4, even human resources part of ITL4 as a practice. Trust me, complete ESM is covered in ITL4, and I'm sure ITL5 is gonna be tremendous. I just posted last week making fun of people thought that they're already started working on ITL5, or I'm assuming it is ITL5. I don't know the name, but I'm very passionate about ITL, whatever version it is. It has been my backbone in my entire career. All my understandings, my network, my friends, uh, uh, the reach I got, the support I got, everything is around the ITIL space, right? So it's possible that a person who has started from help desk can be multi-talented, and also you should notice that it might be difficult for an individual to learn all this in a day or two, but over a period of time, my journey is from 2007. So from 2007 till date, uh, I have ITIL certification, ITIL 4 masters I have completed, and I had completed ITIL 2011 expert as well, and I have a COBIT certification. I am a ISO 20000 practitioner, so I've done audits also, internal audits, and I have helped SOX audits also. So I don't have a certification or anything on SOX part, but I don't even know if it exists. But I have helped those SOX audits, and I have a COVID foundation certification. I am a PMI PMP certified. I'm PMI Agile certified professional. I'm a certified Scrum Master from 2013. Uh, I'm a Prince 2 practitioner. I have Prince 2 Foundation also. And other than this, I've worked on continual improvement also. So, my one of my first projects, which I always, which I will always be proud of, saved 60,000 US dollars annually for a company just because we solved one problem ticket. so so, learning is anywhere, everywhere. Connecting the dots makes you understand where and what it lies. This comes to the feedback to the developers. It is possible that you can learn multiple modules. All you have to do is connect the dots and have access. You have a PDI where you have free access to all these modules. The only module that is difficult to learn without actual production data is CMDB. CMDB is the only difficult CMDB, and again manufacturing unit, manufacturing workflow basically. These two are the only difficult workflows or the maps which you need production experience to work on. Rest all the modules you can just practice and work on. And trust me, there are so much of documentations in from ServiceNow which makes your learning journey very easier. And it's never difficult to learn all modules, right? If you have the niche eye for learning, you would always find a way to learn entire service now. That's always there. And coming to my experience with ServiceNow, it so happened that in 2016 I was working as an internal ITSM consultant, and I was assigned the task of automating the data center maintenance. So I came up with my own concept of miracle worker. That is where miracle worker started actually. So I pitched in for our Hyderabad data center to automate all the space management, server restarts. We named the scripts and created a workflow, the trigger from manage engine, everything. But unfortunately, we can't bring it into reality because we didn't have the scripting resources. Then is where my journey started with ServiceNow, where one of my company or one of my employer wanted to start ServiceNow as a division within the company. So from there on, I have worked as a BA. I've worked as a project manager, I've worked as a program manager, I've handled profit and loss. And trust me, this profit and loss, what we manage uh, in the projects, right? That we get, that is also back, links back to your learnings also. So you might do it in Excel or a third party tool, but when you link it back to SPM, right, the investing funding concepts, and play around in investing funding, you understand the bigger picture, right? And when you play around with the HRC taxonomy, that also links back to investment funding, because every division, every hierarchy what you describe in the taxonomy, right, that gets funding here in the funding. So connecting the dots is very important. You have to understand where, why, what, how. Where, why, what, how. Just like we have must, should, Moscow, right? Must, could, should, would, where, why, what, how. This is very important. You have to ask. In my team, I don't want to say the name, but it's okay. There's a lady called Vishwa. She's a real a young talent, but the way she questions when I say something shows the ability to gather more inputs and understand why I'm saying. So she asks those questions: what, why, how, and she's not scared, and I like that a lot because that helps me channelize my thought process also. Sometimes she has proven that I am wrong. It happens. I am also learning. But those questioning should be there. If you just stick on to one focus, just like how they say, no, in olden days the oars used to be tied with two ribbons on the side, so it doesn't get distracted. So you shouldn't be like that. You should check what's happening around, how your work is connected to a bigger goal, how it cascades to the vision of the project also has an objective, right? And that is, there is a reason that objective is there. That objective links back to some vision mission of the company, or the client, who has initiated that project. So you have to understand the entire concept. That's where your idea and demand overlaps a little there, right? Because not all ideas gets converted into demand, and you have to understand why that, right? What's the work of a demand manager there? And the demand gets converted into project, right? Project comes into the funding, program management, linkage, portfolio linkage, as well as the investment funding, from as well as the PNL, as well as the timesheet. Everything falls in there. So where I learned SPM is basically in VSoft. We used to use it as a in-house tool. In-house tool, sorry, not in-house tool, but basically we used to handle projects using ServiceNow in VSoft. So that's where I learned most of the SPM concepts. And after that, in fact, after that itself, I passed PMP. I took on Agile Certified Professional. Scrum was there from beginning, but PMP I was always scared to take. But this ServiceNow concepts helped me pass PMP also, and the hands-on handling of the projects helped me pass PMP also. Prince 2 was easy, Prince 2 was theoretical, but PMP wasn't like that. And luckily, by by the time I took PMP, Agile was embedded into it, so it was a little easier. So uh, if at all it was traditional PMP, I'm still scared that I might not pass. Uh, so this is an overview. So it's always possible that you can learn all the modules, right? In fact, I'll give you an example. When I joined IBM, in my interview, I was congratulated for the selection, and I was told your work will be very critical. And they said it is as critical as a air traffic uh, controller. So you man, little mistake would impact the human lives, was the statement made to me. But later I joined, there was Control M and AS400 being used. I used to work for a liquor company. I didn't know what that AS400. We used to take backup. We used to fiddle around with the numbers. We used to document that. We used to mail. We used to monitor using Control M and AS400. Later, I got to know after 6 months of managing that is the count of the bottles that gets capped, like the manufacturing unit, right? The bottle goes, the cap is automatically put on the bottle, right? The number of caps fixed correctly gets counted as a counter in the Control M as well as the AS400. I mean Control M. So on the back end, this is basically a counter, and there is a backup every day at a specific period which we used to take. And that's when I got to know, okay, this is where it is connecting. So it's always very much useful for you to understand where your deliverable is being used and what is the value derived out of it. So if at all I missed a backup of uh, the AS400, using AS400, the control M scheduler backup, if I missed, that means that there is a mismatch of bottles packed for one day. That might lead to wrong financial calculations on a bigger side. That is the impact, right? So that way you have to understand where exactly a deliverable is being used and what value it is being done. So that way, the reason I made this video is, there's always, sometimes I get finicky. So someone was questioning, how can anyone have uh, so many multiple modules? You need the effort, right? See, it's 3 a.m. now, 2:54 a.m. My work finished at 10 a.m. I was learning something on ServiceNow and browsing through few apps, and I found this question. And I'm still awake. I'm recording. My login is at 1 p.m. tomorrow, so I'll have a comfortable sleep too. But I'm not wasting time. There is some gyan which giving, and there is a follow-up podcast which will come in some days. With a series of podcasts which I'm excited all about. So that's the end of this video. So anything is possible. It's basically it takes time. I have patience. This is what which I learned recently also, uh, with a lot of tantrums thrown here and there, the psychosis, the irritations, the uncomfortableness. I'm calming down. So just wanted to add patience matters, and everything works out over a period of time. Have faith is one of my mentors told to me long back. Maybe I missed it in the recent days, but I'm back to it. Patience, and everything works out at the end. And thank you again for your support. I should always be thankful for the ITSM fraternity, specifically the Axilos, Exin, People Cert members. Without them, I wouldn't have been what I am today, right? There is an immense contribution of knowledge, as well as career stability. Everything came from ITIL. I should always be thankful for the ITL framework and the authors behind that, and the entire fraternity of folks who made that knowledge accessible back in India. Uh, Heartfelt thank you to each one of you. Thanks again.